go to second-year QBs. Yeah, this one's fun. I didn't see your list until right now. What are your top 5? There are 7 of these guys that were shortened through. So 2 guys will be left off. I'm not mentioning honorable mentions because I think you can figure it out. Second-year QBs, Matt, how are you ranking them?
I have number 1, Drake Maye. I think he's been really good this year. Very effective. He's made mistakes. I get it. And I'm not the person to come on here and yada quarterback mistakes. Okay. Like, mistakes are mistakes and you can't make them. They matter.
What do you think about his footwork and arm mechanics? What do you think about it?
Hey, I mean,
do you want to do a 2-hour video breakdown on footwork and arm mechanics of quarterbacks that actually turns out doesn't matter? Because as long as the ball gets there.
I do not. I do not want to do that, actually. But no, I think he's been, from a success rate standpoint, he's been really good. Again, he's made mistakes for sure. We do want to cut those out. But when everything is working, I think he plays really well within the structure of the offense. I think week 4 was kind of a nice breakthrough for Diggs, who had been kind of a part-time player for them. And you just saw them kind of developing a nice little chemistry where he's just sitting in the soft spots of zones. And of course, again, it's the Panthers. I just ripped the Panthers defense to shreds. I understand that. But just being able to find Diggs and find those openings, I think that was really impressive to me. So he's number 1. Number 2, I have Jayden Daniels, which feels tough. I mean, he's played 2 games, but and the week 2 game was terrible. But so I don't really know what to do with that. But I'm giving him a little bit of benefit of the doubt because I know the history here. And then so I have Caleb Williams number 3, I have Michael Penix number 4, and then I went with Spencer Rattler number 5 because I ain't putting JJ McCarthy there, and I just think Rattler we'll talk about Rattler, but Bo Nix was 33 out of 33 quarterbacks that had taken 50 plus dropbacks heading into week 4 in success rate. So I don't even know if that's all Bo Nix's fault or just they seem to still want to keep the training wheels on him. But I just think Rattler's been a little bit better through the first few weeks of the season.
Yeah, I agree. You'll see in my rankings, Drake Maye's 1, and this is not just because of the bit. This is also just he's been really good. I can touch that in a sec, but I have Caleb Williams at 2, and this is more this. It's hard because if you're including last year, I'd probably give Jayden Daniels the bump, as 2. But I would say just this year, because Daniels has been hurt in the first 2 games, I didn't think he was that great anyways. That's why I want to see him. Shout out also to the Commanders' offensive line and run game, because they've been great. And they've kept this thing going and been one of the better watches. So I want to give a shout out to them and Bobby Johnson, our offensive line coach. But Daniels, I have a 3. And that's just because he's been hurt this year, which is a concern. Before, I have Spencer Rattler. I think he's been great, relatively great compared to what the expectations are of this offense and what he's got surrounding him. I have Penix at 5 because last week was probably his best game as a pro, and got to see the worst of him in week 3 against the Panthers and the best of him in week 4. And really, I just thought that was he's never, I don't think, going to be the most consistent guy, but man, he's 12th in success rate so far through 4 weeks. If he sits in that range, he can make this work because he's going to be such a high wire act down the field. But much more encouraging. He averaged 10.5 air yards last week, actually targeted the slot a ton, which I'm sure London owners felt. Well, London fans like you, Mr. Matt Harmon, felt throughout the game.
Drake had 5 catches for 81 yards and a touchdown out of the slot, which is it's so funny. Sometimes, I know this is probably not the case, but sometimes you get the feeling like, damn, these guys, did they listen to the shows? Because that's all we yapped about on the show last week about play action. Well, they had 21.4% of their dropbacks in week 4 out of play action. They're not pushing the ball deep. There's so much 12 personnel. Drake London's not getting slot reps like he was last year. Immediately gets a bunch of stuff out of the slot in week 4. It's just very funny. All of the things perfect. We were whining about on the film room episode last week on the fantasy forecast kind of immediately got fixed, quote unquote, in week 4.
Yeah, we were looking at stats last week on the fantasy forecast for anyone hadn't heard that show yet. They were, I think, dead last or 31st. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head, but early down play action, it was like, do you know what your offense is? You guys run the ball and go play action off of it. Use that. And it just seemed to me I don't know, he played a lot more confident this week and just I think the Panthers game, he was really trying to be too perfect, but I think he's always going to be up and down because of some of his accuracy stuff. But you can live with this guy. You can win games with him because he can generate those big plays. And if you have a run game like this, this can churn. So like this can be a productive offense. So I was really encouraged. I felt kind of funny, but it was like I started getting props a couple of weeks ago, and then he has his worst game as a pro against the Panthers. I was like, of course, that's how it works. Getting to Rattler, just making the right decision with the football. He's a fun guy to rewatch, and they've played some relevant teams. They played the Bills this week. They played the Seahawks a couple of weeks ago. So kind of been watching, played the Cardinals week 1. So of course I was watching that game. But really just making the right decision with the football, just very clean as a thrower. He was taking a lot of sacks at South Carolina, so that was concerning, but the South Carolina offensive line was horrid, and he was just trying to do anything. And I'm rewatching him now, and like, I don't know, his internal clock is really good. Like Carson Wentz should be watching Spencer Rattler film as far as, okay, it's not there, that's get rid of the ball. It's not there, quick scramble and get rid of the ball. Like, just make it quick. And I don't know, for a Saints situation that's not ideal, him and Kellen Moore got some good things going right now. And it's been a pleasant surprise. I liked Rattler coming out, like, relatively, I had a day 2 grade on him. This offense needs explosives, but man, his operation, even in non-garbage time minutes, has just been very, very clean. So I'm kind of glad you gave him a little shout out too, because it's been a nice, pleasant surprise, even if I liked Rattler before.
I have 2 Rattler things to add here. The first is, we talked about it a little bit before the show. This isn't a cure-all, but they probably do need to operate over the middle a little bit more. That being said, especially taking some shots in that, that's why there's no yak. But I think you see this all the time, and I highlighted this in the week 2 charting notebook I do for reception perception with Chris Olave, whose usage is just like completely different, and it's really sick this year. I don't need to see him throwing any more passes, but no, as a receiver, pretty cool stuff. And they just do this. They spam like these 2 plays with him over and over again. And I think Rattler's been really good on both of them. One, it's just like it's not the same play over and over again, but conceptually they do some like motion with him when he gets out and he just runs a quick out route, and him and Rattler and Olave have like just a really good timing on that. There's a lot of trust by Rattler to just let that thing go, and it's just picking up a few quick yards here and there. Like we said, we want him to operate over the middle a little bit more and get some more yards after catch. That's how we're going to create big plays, but it's a good way to just keep this offense on schedule. You also see they do this one where they'll motion Brandon Cooks out and basically kind of, this is like a true sacrifice love of the game route where he does like the cheap motion out and just he becomes he's kind of the nominal slot, but basically becomes the outside receiver and just allows Olave to run like a deep curl route. And that's another one that him and Rattler have a really good timing and connection on. So that's been cool to see. And then the other thing is there's 4 quarterbacks this year with double digit over 10.0 EPA added on scrambles. Number 1 is Josh Allen. Number 2 is Baker Mayfield. Number 3 is Spencer Rattler, and number 4 is Patrick Mahomes. So I think he's not a consistently accurate quarterback. He's got to probably improve the ball placement a little bit, which would also help the yak and help the explosive plays. But I've been impressed with just how he handles the operation of the offense. And it's a really good way that you said it there. Like just the operation's pretty clean here. He doesn't kill them with mistakes or anything like that. And he knows when to pull the ripcord and get out of there, which I'm glad you pointed out Carson Wentz. There's a lot of veterans who still deep into their career do not have that sense that Rattler has 2 years in when he kind of seemed to win the job by default. So maybe we're over talking this because we're grading it on a curve, but for what my expectations were to what he's been, it's been one of the more pleasant surprises in the NFL. Like they're not a complete embarrassment on offense right now.
I agree. They do cool things. We talked about the no huddle stuff before. They keep it clean for him. But I'm glad you brought up the scrambler stat because that was one of my notes too. Is he has how many scrambles he has? He has 13 scrambles and 11 scrambles and 9 of them have been successful. So it's just like that's what you want. Like anything over 60% is good. So 90%, of course, I know it's low usage, but he's 13th in success rate so far. It's just. It's a much more mature handling of playing quarterback than I expected. I thought he would have a little more wild horse to him. And I think that's where the pleasant surpriseness has been coming from. Talk about Caleb, starting to see what makes him so intriguing and so why he was so highly regarded. It's just you see the arm talent. The sack rate has dropped tremendously, which was the number one thing I want to see. And it's not just because they improved the offensive line. It really just been more his understanding of, again, understanding what he is, just like we're talking about Rattler and complimenting him, sometimes Penix as well. Caleb's understanding, okay, now it's creation time. Now is the time I got to stay in structure. I make that guy free run or miss, but I got to stay in structure because this over route's about to come over. I thought the touchdown to Ndunze was absolutely gorgeous on third down against a funky blitz look, actually, because they're trying to catch you throwing stuff over the middle. They have the two guys dropping. A glance route, 1, 2, 3, ball out, a rope. Perfect timing, is perfect ball placement. It was awesome. The underlying stats are more middling, and I understand that, but man, the eye test and just what we're seeing, the production that's coming now, there's a lot of good stuff. So it's like, again, this Bears team after their bye week, which is this week, I believe, really, I think this is where it's going to feel even more real. Like where it's like, this is good stuff. The operation is good between Caleb and Ben Johnson. The other guys are kind of sloppy right now, but these two are clicking right now. Ben Johnson's not blinking literally and figuratively, and Caleb Williams is, I think he's starting to feel it right now. I don't know. He's a psycho, and I love an offensive psycho because there's plenty of defensive psychos, and I'm all for it. So I'm like, yeah. But yeah, Caleb, I know
like him and Liam Cohen, they've got a little bit of spice to them. Ben Johnson and Liam Cohen, those like the kind of the big brain offensive coordinators. This guy's got a lot of heat on him, that's for sure. I know.
I like it. I know. I'm still encouraged by the Bears. It's not all perfect, trust me. Like they're sloppy on defense, but the offensive operation's been like, it's getting better, especially if they get some health and they could figure out the running back room. Make a trade or something, please. And then Drake Maye, sack rate a little too high still, but his pressure sacks actually, I mean, it's 26%, which isn't like crazy. Get that below 20, we're cooking, and he can do that. But, oh, man, just unbelievably efficient. The offense is asking him to be unbelievably efficient. There's so many stick routes, so much quick game, and his accuracy has been just great. I mean, obviously first in completion percentage, but just even eye test accuracy, where that ball placement is. Watch the throw he had to Hunter Henry. That Hunter Henry gets tackled at the 1-inch line. I still don't understand how he didn't score, but it's an angle route, and he's thrown away from the linebacker that's buzzing underneath it, and he places it perfect. And the over route to Stephon Diggs last week was beautiful because he gets the linebacker to tie down. Just some really good stuff. First in dropback success rate in the whole NFL, not just among rookies, 54.3%. They've played a cupcake schedule. I understand that, but it's still good to see this, especially considering what the Patriots have. Since 2013, just for reference, the record is Drew Brees in 2018. At 54.8%. So pretty high rate. 5th in EP per dropback, 8th in net yards an attempt, despite ranking 13th in YAC. Yes, they played the easy schedule, but man, this is very encouraging because I know he can really push the ball, but seeing this kind of under center, underneath kind of accuracy, dart throwing is really encouraging on top of the explosive plays that I know he can generate. So pretty cool start to Drake Maye. Yeah, fun game against the Bills this week. Should be fun. Now we just got to figure out let's get Kyle Williams out there, pretty please. All right, now we are going to take. I mean, our Matt Collins, break.
Like enough.
Got to get him out there.
Sorry,
got to design red zone touchdowns for Matt Collins. That's
dunking on me.
I know.